Hey everybody, I may be a little behind the eight ball with this video as yesterday was Father's Day, but I want to talk a little bit about fathers. Um, this this is going to encompass all types of fathers, okay? The founding fathers of our country, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our own fathers, whether you knew them or didn't, or know them or don't, or whether they're living or dead, whether they were good fathers or bad fathers. Talk about the absence of fathers a little bit. Talk about how fathers play such an integral role in who we are as people. And who we are as people translates into who we are as a society. Now, I'm not going to go, I'm mainly going to keep this conversation to what I know about people of the United States. I'm not very knowledgeable regarding the topic of fathers in other countries and other societies and things of that nature, but here in the United States, I can speak with some authority on this to some degree. And I'm a father, Uh, if we don't understand by now the importance of fatherhood and what that means, and let me preface this whole thing by saying this is nothing to take away from mothers. Mothers are equally as important, just in a different way. Firstly, the nuclear family, as it's referred to, that's a mother, a father, a couple of kids, a dog, whatever. The typical average, well, I don't even know if it's the average family anymore in the United States, but it was for many years, for many of the more prosperous years of the United States. It was, it is very important for children to have fathers who are present, to have fathers who care, who are loving, who nurture, who teach, who grow their children, who teach their daughters what it's like to be loved by a man the right way, to teach their sons how to be a man and how to treat people, women and otherwise, with respect and all of the things that go with that, to teach them values, morals, everything. And largely, I think what we're seeing today in our society here in the United States is a product of absent fathers. And I don't necessarily even mean fathers that are physically absent, that are not there, but I mean fathers who are there in the house but not there. And I don't even mean necessarily, I'm not even limiting it rather to fathers who are in the house but say are abusive, which is horrible, but fathers who are just not there, who don't commit their time, to their children, to their spouses, to teaching these things. Statistics show, and I don't have them right in front of me, and so, fact check me or whatever you want to do, or look it up for yourself. But it is factual that children who grow up without a father in the household, physically without a father in the household, are more likely to have mental problems, are more likely to experience depression, are more likely to have suicidal thoughts, are more likely to get involved in drugs and alcohol, are more likely to commit crimes, are more likely to go to jail, and are certainly more likely to perpetuate the same thing unto their children. That is a fact. Those are facts. Like I say, look them up for yourself. I don't have stats in front of me, but those are facts. The percentages are way higher for all of those things I mentioned for fatherless households. By the same token, fathers who are abusive, who are in the household, who are in the children's lives, but are abusive, be it verbally, mentally, physically, I'll even say spiritually, who do not share Christ, the effects are similar, are definitely similar. There's a disconnect between the child and reality of how society works. And then, again, like I mentioned, fathers who are there, but they're not abusive, let's say, but they're just not present. They've got their own agenda, and they don't have time for the children. They don't have time for the spouse. They don't have time to be bothered with anything other than what they want to do. Effects are similar. Children respond to these things. They have to. It's a defense mechanism for many of them to figure out for themselves, if they're left to their own devices, be it from an absentee father or be it from a father who is either abusive or just not involved in their life, who actually may be in the home. So, and then the ultimate Father, our Heavenly Father, for those of us, human beings of all walks of life, sizes, shape, types, creed, colors, now here's the difference. That Father, our Heavenly Father, is always there for us, okay? But we have to reach out to our Heavenly Father. We have to want to be a part of that family. We have to want to have a relationship with our Heavenly Father. And when we don't, we suffer a lot of the same things: depression, guilt, anxiety, bad decisions, to say the least. And so fatherhood in every instance, from just a man up to, the Son of Man, it is vitally, vitally important. And when we as a society and a country abandon what our founding fathers, if you want to use this perspective, use this little jewel here, when we abandon those principles that were taught and bestowed upon us and given to us by our founding fathers, then we see the same things. We see bad behavior, we see anarchy, we see crime, we see destruction, we see hate. And that's what we're seeing, Many years ago, I worked with a guy. I worked at a restaurant, and this was back when I was in college. And I worked at a restaurant, and there was a guy. He was a real nice guy. Worked with him for maybe a year, and he was cool. He was a good guy, in my opinion. He seemed like a good guy, fairly well put together. He had an absentee father, who once he tried to make reconnections as a young adult, this gentleman, and his father seemed willing, and this was after years of pure absenteeism. This guy kept talking about how he was trying to get back together with his dad and wanted to build a relationship with his dad, wanted to prove to his dad how well he was doing and how well he turned out, given that his father was not present. And this was kind of a mission of his. He talked about it all the time. And they had talked on the phone a few times. I think they'd actually kind of met at a restaurant or they didn't really spend really any time together other than just bits here and there as they were trying to, according to the young man, mend this relationship. Until one day when some hardships came upon the young man, and he was, he was living with some folks in an apartment, and just trying to make his way as a young man out in the world on his own. And apparently, his father had invited him to come live with him. Now, he had not lived in a home with his father since he was a little child. Okay, I don't know what age exactly, but let's say 7, 8, 9 years old. Okay. And again, his father had not had anything to do with him until, let's say, 10 years later, when he was, 19, 20 years old. And they tried to grow this relationship. And this is from the perspective of the guy I worked with, the son. As he would share this stuff with me, we talked regularly about this. Well, he seemed very excited, and he was going to move in with his dad. And so he did. And it was fairly local. I think his dad had moved back to town. He had been away or whatever. And he told me one day, told all of us that we worked with, he said, man, I'm planning a very special weekend. It's be the first weekend. I think his dad worked over the road or something. I don't remember exactly. This was a long time ago. But I know that he had lived there a couple of weeks, but they still hadn't really got to spend any time together. And this was going to be the first weekend that they were going to get to really spend some time together. And he was really excited about it. And he kept telling me and everybody else that would listen about how excited and the plans he had. And so he got to his father's house prior to his father getting home on this, I think it was a Friday, maybe a Saturday. They were going to spend a big part of the weekend together, catching up, living together, father and son, in his dad's house. And he got a shotgun out of his dad's closet. And he went out on the back patio, and he waited for his father to get home. And his father pulled up, saw his son sitting back there, came around. I don't know what words were said, I wasn't there. But just as his father walked into view, the guy put the thing in his mouth and ended his life. Now, I'm sorry to share that. That's a morbid story, but it's a true story. It happened. We were all shocked. I mean, it was unbelievable. To be a father is so much more than to just donate sperm and create another body, Because fathers are not always blood related. It has to do with what we do with the responsibility given to us as fathers. If we can't teach our children what it's like to be men and women in society, if we can't teach our children what it's like to understand the laws that were made, the Constitution that was written, the Bill of Rights that was given to us by our founding fathers, and if we can't understand the love and mercy and forgiveness that our Father in heaven has given us, then we truly are lost as a society, as a country. So I guess I say all this to say this. Let's not lose sight. In fact, let's be more diligent in being the right kind of fathers, because we're seeing what's happening in the world. And it's because of lack of direction, a lack of care, a lack of instruction, a lack of love. And it starts in the home, Mothers and fathers have very different roles, equally important. Let's not make light of these roles. And you fathers out there, be the best fathers you can. Mentor others if you can. I watched Integrative Preparedness' video on fathers, and I'd already been planning a video like this, and he gave me some great ideas. I reached out to him, let him know. I hope I don't lift any of his ideas, but ultimately there will be some similarities if you watch his video. But I guess that's all I got. Be good fathers. Love your children. Teach them. Grow them. Teach them about Christ, about how things are supposed to be, about the way we're supposed to live our life as upstanding people, God-fearing people who love one another, who love our community. There may be a chance yet to turn this all around, but it's going to be in our children's future. It's going to be their burden, because I don't think we'll see it. I don't think we'll see it happen in our time. I'm the Real World Prepper. Thanks so much for watching.